Welcome to the Totally Awesome Fishing Show. This one, bit of fishing and a bit of mashup of everything. Be honest, I've been so busy flat out. Mike's come back up from Somerset to Hampshire. He's got another house and he's got to move, and we've got so much painting and everything. I just haven't been fishing this week, that is the truth. And it's cold. And another shock I had. We've just opened up, literally over here in the UK, a few days ago, from one of the lockdowns, one of the many lockdowns, and you can go and have a haircut. But prior to that, almost the day before, my wife, who is a hairdresser, retired, brackets, exclamation mark, I'll give you a haircut. A haircut? A haircut? That is butchery. I've now got to go fishing looking like a half-peeled peanut. Not very nice, is it? Anyway, bit of fishing coming up for you guys. Let's kick it off. Let's start it, as we should do every week on a Friday, with a bit of fishing.
Well, welcome to the Totally Awesome Fishing Show. This is just a regular 2-hour fishing trip I'm trying to squeeze in. Very, very mild, unseasonably mild, I would say. I'm down here at Watmore, and I've got literally 2 hours to try and catch a fish, and I've got a new bit of attachment to my camera. It's a sort of experiment to try out and see if it works. If it works, brilliant. Could get a little bit better clarity in the pictures. I've only got the small camera. Quite a few guys around here fishing. A beautiful, beautiful still day. So, have I left it too late? I've got here 2 swim feeders, quivertip rods held at high angle. As you can see there, what I call my high stack fishing method. I've got a banded pellet, I think it's 8mm pellet on the end, a swim feeder with some ground bait. Just down there is a mix of ground bait. I think it's 2mm coarse pellets, bit of bran, bit of Paley's horse feed, only a little bit. I haven't pounded it in. I'm trying to see if I can catch normal method with just having the feed out there, and I've hit the feeders as far as I can get out. From here where I'm standing, look, just there, I'm aiming for that pylon over there, as far as I can go, and one to the left, that taller bush to the left, just to see, because I have seen 1 or 2 fish roll out there. But listen, it's a bit of a hit and miss one. I've got a DIY project to do in the garage. I have the luxury chair here, the world famous and world renowned chair there. Quite a large pellet I've got there, and I'm banding them on. So fingers crossed, I'll get a few bites there. And we're looking for any form of a pull down. Even a small fish will do this. Tiny, these are quivertip rods, by the way. They're spliced in, guys, so people who don't know, they're not screwed in, they're spliced in. That's actually the splice joint down to the glass. And I've got down here a couple of buzzers, because if I'm filming or looking away and doing something else, they just give me a bit of backup and obviously stop me losing a rod. Now sometimes when it's very, very still like this, especially this time of year, it can be difficult to get fish, but listen, one fish will do it for me. And one thing I have noticed here is casting out there a long way, it takes a long time, about 10 seconds, 8 seconds for the feeder to hit the bottom. So out there is very, very deep, which is why you can fish Watmore summer, autumn, winter, well, year round, and have a good chance of catching fish. I don't think I've really done much distance fishing here, so this is a bit of an experiment for me. And just over here, I had a bit of leftover ground bait from yesterday. I was down fishing on a river, southern river, for grayling and trout. Had a fantastic day trotting afloat, and you can see there, hopefully, you'll be able to see 3 handfuls of ground bait. And I've got some sweet corn. I might actually put a bit of sweet corn down there and see if anything comes in close. A lot of people actually throw their bait away, but I don't. Look, there's only a bit there, guys, isn't there? There's not much there really. But there could be enough, and you can freeze this, that's a benefit. There could be enough just to bring a carp in close. And I'm going to put some in the feeder as well. Next mix that goes out, I'm going to scatter them around. Never know, very often you'll get a fish come in here, but do you know, I don't see any roach dimpling on the surface. I find that strange. But look at this. What a setting. Well, I've had just one pull down bite, made no contact with that, but just look at this, guys, changed again up there. Just so you guys know, that's what they call a mackerel sky. It's like the scales of a mackerel. and generally it's a sign of good weather. I hope so, because I'm out or due out bass fishing tomorrow with my mate Wayne, and we need some good weather. Well, nearly I should run out the rest then, people. And I just changed over to 2 grains of sweet corn. So let's see if we can't get one fish out of this without tangling with the other rods. There hasn't been much roach activity, as I mentioned earlier, on the surface. But the late Dick Walker used to say, and I remember him always mentioning this, the best bite time was when the sun was less or under 10 degrees from the horizon. Well, I can only say it's got to be about 9.5. So I feel he was probably right. It was absolutely dead, dead, dead. In fact, I was starting to nod off a bit. And then the next thing I know, single tone of the rod was folded over. I'm trying to keep this quivertip rod underneath the other one. I think I'm clear now. So my line is actually round here and I'm still fishing out here with the other one. Push it up a bit for you can see a bit. There's just that one subtle change. I mean, listen, I was on the pellet. It could have been the time, as we mentioned earlier, that 10 degrees below the horizon and they come on the bite. Or it could have been the fact that the sweet corn is brighter on the bottom, or it could have been the taste of the sweet corn. Soft debate. I'm going to have to unclip myself, guys, for a minute to get this fish right down the side. Nice and crisp. Not a big fish, I don't know, 4 and a bit pounds, but it's nice to catch nevertheless. And there he goes back, gone in a flash. I think I'll be putting another grain of sweet corn on there, guys. A carp has cleared up all the feed down in there, and you can see that, and I've got some sweet corn down there now. And a carp about 8 pounds came in and started hoovering up. I'm going to put a little bit more bait down there. Fingers crossed we might get to show you one. Really, really ridiculously close. I don't think I can catch him there, to be honest. I've got feeder rods that are a long way out. Just goes to show you how close they will come in. Well, you can see there the sun's going down about 10 or 15 minutes from sunset, so it's below that 10 degrees. So I should, according to the 10-degree rule, be getting bites by now. They should be coming on the feed. I've actually seen that carp come in there again, but I'm trying to show it to you. I'll probably end up losing the light. It's a common about 6 to 8 pounds, probably 8 pounds. The quivertips at the moment are remaining motionless. You can see how there's a lot more activity on the surface now. I've got all the bits of ground bait that's dry. I didn't mix that wet, I mixed it up and threw some dry out, and that seems to have brought the roach up. There's lots and lots of dimpling fish out there. My carp still isn't, oh there he is, I spooked him. You see the water shaking. Big swirl down there. He will come back, because I've got quite a bit of corn down there, as you can see there now. I feel a chance of another fish coming, people. There he is, guys, there he is. Yes, like you. I think I should be putting a bait down there, don't you? He's going to come back. I'll put a bit more feed in there, bring one of these outside rods in, just free line it straight down. I mean, that's got to be worth a shot, isn't it? That's about a foot from the bank. Ultra close range, guys. I've got the rod balanced on my chair here. It's through the bite indicator up there to the quiver tip, and it's just hanging, so I've got the line right against. I've still got swivel on there, which I might take off. It's hanging right against the wall down here, the boards, so hopefully he won't see the line. The rod should just buckle straight over. And there he goes. Oh, he's knocked the line. I'm holding that pose, as they say. He's right in there. You can just see the little ripples. His head's there. I can see his head. He's just drifting back. There's actually, oh my God, there's 3 there. That rod is about to disappear into the lake. I can't see it not going. Can you see those carp in there? I can see them and I haven't got glasses. I'm going to risk moving away from the rod a bit. They are digging and digging down there. Look. There's my swim. That's the edge of the swim. Oh, he just bumped the line. He just bumped. I think I've got to take that swivel off. Oh my God. 3 of them. Change your rig, guys. They can have some more din-dins. I've barely got about 25 minutes of light left. I think I'm going to take that swivel off. That could be just enough to spook them. Meanwhile, the other rod's out there. I might change that back to pellet. I've taken the banded pellet off and I put the sweet corn on. I might go back to banded pellet. Going to go with a piece of bread flake, guys. Just slow sinking. Leave that point clear. Because I might even touch ledge of this. I'm going to dip it here once. If they come in again, I can just lower on them. I'm going to move these twigs so I can see exactly what the score is. Man, they hoover that food. Oh, there's one. There's one right underneath me. Right underneath me. Missed him. Oh, that's unbelievable. I'm not quite sure what went on then. I thought he had it in his mouth. Obviously, he was just over the top of it. Now, we're probably going to be losing the light for this GoPro camera in a minute. Wow, how did I miss that one? And the answer to that is quite easily. They're still down there, people. There's one. I'm just trying to get that bread to sink under its own weight. Got him. Oh my goodness me. There's anglers and there's danglers. I was actually dangling the bread then, to be honest. I don't know who's more surprised, him or me. That's what you call changing your methods, changing your tactics, getting spooled out. Nothing on the other one. I'm going to leave that one out there while I fight this fish. I don't know if you'll see any of this. It's not really a low light camera, this head cam. But listen, in 2 hours, a couple of fish. If I get this one, I should be well happy. Looks like a common carp, and he's given me pretty good scrap. It's going to the left, so I'll go to the right. Generally, for fighting a fish, if you're beginners, whichever way you pull, make sure it's the opposite way to him swimming. That way you're making all the muscles in him work and keeping him away from snags and stuff like that. So you can gradually, if he suddenly turns to the left, pull to the right. I mean, it's not a monster fish, no, it's just, we're not catching monster fish, we just catch Joe average fish. Big one comes along, so much the better. If he doesn't, he doesn't. Big ones, you just catch them the same as you would do other fish. There's just less of them, so therefore they take longer generally to catch. If there's lots of smaller fish, you'll catch them. The medium-sized fish, obviously slightly less, so you'll catch less of them. The bigger they get, then the less there are to catch in a lake. Obviously, if there's only 20 fish in this lake, it would take you forever to try and learn out where they are and what they're feeding on, or to get them feeding. This guy is going pretty well. Well. I keep telling everybody how good bread is. And that just sunk on the bottom and he had it straight away. I think I've got him. I think I'm going to get him now. I think I'm going to get him. Get him. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. There he comes. He's digging and digging. He's got the feeling he might be one of those that pings off. Just got that feeling. I'm sure all you anglers out there sometimes have a very bad feeling that a fish is going to ping off. No, I'm going to scoop him now. And there he is. He is in done toast. Just nicked in the corner there. Oh me, a common carp. Is he going to go nuts? Or is he going to hold still? A common carp. 5.5-ish, I would say, something like that. Well pleased with that. Get him straight back, and you know what, I think there's every chance might get another one. Zoom, away he goes. People, I hate to say it, I haven't even picked the rod up. There's another one swirled down there. Hang on, panicking now, I've got to get some more food in. Get organised. I'm going to keep them feeding while they're there. They might have a bit of this ground bait as well, because I'm not going to use it all on the swim feeder. I'm not going to use all this at all. There's going to be more coming in, I feel, as the light fades. First things first, let's get this rod sorted. Could have just been something as simple as the weight of that swivel, and I took it off and went to free line and actually watched him suck that bait in. There's another one down there. Oh, I spooked him. That's annoying. That's an even bigger one. Okay, no problemo. I'm going to flick it out there. Just let it sink under its own devices and leave it balanced on my chair like this while I bring this feeder rod in, and I think I'll change it for a banded pellet again, throw it out there. Let's just go back to that banded pellet, which is quite soft now, and then I'll probably leave this one out and concentrate on this margins, because I can see a lot of activity going on down there. I've got plenty of ground bait I can use up. But listen guys, if you don't get through your ground bait, don't worry, just freeze it down, put it in a plastic bag. Honestly, just freeze it and use it again. Right, this one can go out there, post it right out. 40, 50 yards out, boom. There's definitely a carp down there. You see the slight ripples it's making, and this is about 12-15 feet out there. Let it sink, and then I like to bang the feeder, and that tumbles all the food out, hopefully, and it will go around the hook bait a bit better. So that can just sit down there now, basically just sit tight. I'm going to bring my bread in, come back here, get a piece of bread flake, getting the panics now. Getting the panics. Half that size, don't want it too big. Just pinch that hard, but not around the point hard, if that makes sense. And then I'm just going to touch lead of this and lower it right down over that bait. Need to be able to see everything with this type of fishing. I need to shield myself from movement, but also want to see the fish coming in there moving. Are they eating all that bait? Surely not. My God, shoveled it up. I'm just trying to see. If I can't get one to take, I can physically see on the bait. I can barely see the bait. There's one in there. I see one in there. Here he comes. Nice. No, he's drifted off. Another one coming. Here he comes, here he comes, here he comes. Whoa, right past it. Spooky boys, spooky. Another one coming in. 4 inches, 3 inches, 2 inches. Seen the line. Oh, there's a good fish there. Got him, boys, got him on. Got him on. Oh, what? That looked a nice fish too. That looks a nice fish. That might be big. I don't know whether you're going to even see this with the low light level in this camera. That looks a good fish. Came right in from the side along those boards and he's peeling me out. You won't see it, but he's peeling me out there. Goodness me, I'd like to finish with one decent fish. Wouldn't that be something? There is a nice carp on the end of this. That's a nice carp in my net. Oh, what? Oh, good Lord. Oh man, it's a double. Oh, it's the most weird shape ever. What is the shape of that fish? And he sucked my bread back there in amongst the ground bait. I'm going to hold him up with the camera. Well, I'm not going to hold him up with the camera fall off. There might just be enough light, guys, to see this fish. I think he's right on the 10-11 pound mark. You might and I might see him because it's nearly dark, trust me. What a lovely result. Bizarre shape, but do I care? No siree. That's a heavy, heavy fish. In he goes. Gone.
It's always good to get a few fish on those short little fishing trips, and the old saying is, be there when they bite. Now, saddle up, waff into the totally awesome garden for a bit more messing around.
So, what to do first? Well, I've got some seeds that are on the go in a potting shed. I'll show you those, how far they've got at the moment. But I've got to come around the back here and attack a big bank. But I've got a novel way, if you've got those sort of spider plants, of strimming around the edge of them without damaging the spider plant itself. Obviously, I've got trouble because I've got the wife on my shoulder watching. Let's get going. So what I've done is I've actually been out and left the trail cam out all night. And I put some trout pellets on top of the bird table, so it'd be very interesting to see what sort of creatures I've captured on this. I put new batteries in. I've had a lot of trouble with it on and off. But anyway, first jobs. That's the second job. That's the interesting stuff. Up the back here, my old fence runs along by the road, right? Look what I'm doing here. I want to trim all this and I want to cut around these pampas. Normally I cut them right down. Done a bit of fence repairing up there. Look at this idea, guys. It's a new experiment for Totally Awesome Fishing. I've got these plants here, but every time I try and trim around them, I get all the edges clipped here. Some of these are rotten, obviously, but these I want to keep neat and tidy. This is my way of doing it. Some soil pipe. I gradually fold these up like this, slide the tube over the top, rake around, and then hopefully I can get the strimmer on them. So these have all been planted from cuttings. They're called lavateria, and they come out with a lovely sort of purpley type flower. And lo and behold, in there already is a ladybird. I don't know whether it's the invasive species or the British national one. Anyway, I've cleared all out in there. I've obviously cleared around here as well. We've completely mullered the pampas grass down like this here. So you can see the bank here now. We've trimmed it down. I've completely cut down, with a hedge trimmer, all the pampas. We do this every year, and in about a month's time they will be growing 6 inches high. Down here, this bank, if guys might remember last year, showed you some really weird wasps, and I noticed they burrow in here. There's nothing there at the moment, but you can see the holes there. Can you see those? So I'm wondering, are they actually in there and haven't hatched out? Their eggs are in there, or do they come and then they burrow in there to breed or live or whatever? But I'm just going to keep an eye on this over the next few weeks and see if we can't find them. So all the way here now, nice and clear, all neat and tidy. A lot of work, but listen, that's done, and these will come back next year, no problem at all. What I do notice about this lavateria, this was a great big one, but it dies back, and there you can see it rots out. Now these were from tiny cuttings. You can imagine taking a cutting like this, okay, planting it, and in a couple of years' time you've got a big bush. But they do tend to last about, I reckon, 5 years, and then they've had their time. They grow quite fast, but you can see here, big split in there. So obviously it goes all the way up there, and eventually this one will die off and I'll replant it. I've already got some. As you can see, the mouse traps are everywhere. I'm running a complete trap line. I do not need them in the house. I do not need them chewing through the wife's electrics in the car. So they're under advisement to vacate the premises as soon as they want. They get fed, by the way, when I do get them, to Colin the kite and what we call the rook gang with Thatcher carrion crows. So I'm nice and tidy here now. Had a good day, mowed all the lawn, job done. But I want to tell you what was a success up here is brand new daff bulbs, the old daffodils. They have been a real success. New compost, new bulbs, because we had a lot of what we call blind daffs growing, that come up and don't have any heads at all. But for some reason, I think because we've not had a lot of sun, they've been very, very good this year. Fabulous colours, and of course you can lift them and dry them and put them away, or you can actually leave them in the ground and let them die down. You've got to let them die down, which is fine, but they look pretty messy when it comes to around about June time, If you cut them, which I've probably done with a mower, not in the trough, obviously not in the trough on the lawn, I think that's when they come up blind. Does anybody know what causes blind daffodils? But they are absolutely excellent this year, and I believe that's the cool temperatures we've had. This one looks like a slightly different head to it, or crown there. That's a much richer colour. And the old flowers that we had planted back in the autumn have now started to flower again. We've got to nip off the dead ones. They're not looking great, but the temperature's bringing them through. What I do, actually, I tie a couple of bamboo poles here, because we do get wind. I get some fishing line, and I can support them up here, so they will last longer. Because a lot of the time they will just blow over where we get so much wind up here, and where they're so tall, they will snap. But they have been. What I do with those, I'm just going to let them all die down, move them around the back of the potting shed, and just let them go down naturally. And I won't lift them or anything. I just leave them in those troughs. Might just put a little peg in to mark them. I'll show you the seeds in the potting shed. All the gardener's implements of war are down there. I've got here a load of, I think it's Chinese water reed, which is on one of Mike's projects, a thatching. He got quite good thatching. If you want to check out his TA Outdoors, he's got quite good at it. I helped him with the first one, but he learnt more in the second one. Should say something about me, actually. You can see here, absolutely chopped down, dies in the middle, absolutely rots down inside there, but just grows and grows and grows. So it comes way over here. So I cut it down, and it will come back in about a month's time. In the greenhouse, mostly use it for drying out Swedish fire torches. These are all ready to go. For bushcraft stuff, a few bits and pieces of geraniums and plenty of chickweed by the look of it. They just take potluck, these. Then in here, I've got marked up here some cosmos that are coming through. Got 2 trays, going to put those seedlings out and they'll grow on. And I've got some, well, they're called Betty Crocker sunflower seeds. I picked them up on the looks like the end of October. I've planted them. They're coming through. They're not giant 6 foot ones. Well, I don't think they are. Mostly sort of, well, there's the seed, look. That's what's left of the seed. That's the sunflower seed. So what I do is keep turning them around, rotating them so they constantly bend back towards the light, this way, that way. It just slows them from blowing too fast, what I call blowing too fast. We put an unknown seed in these, and it's not those. It's not those. So we don't know what's going to come. They might have been in a tin for 5 or 6 years and be totally dead. We don't know, dried out. But Mike had them when he was down in Somerset, so I said let's plant them and see what they are. So I'm going to start with some flowers there, guys, and we'll follow it through the year and see what these sunflowers come up like. Our sunbathing area, I've planted these, which do grow really well. A sort of zebra grass, I call it, you know, like a zebra grass. And then we cut them down because wifey likes to look from the kitchen, likes to look through and see what's happening. They go to seed like this, a bit like a miniature pampas grass, but they're not an edged grass. I think they're actually a reed. This year, they don't seem to be doing quite so well, unless they're going to come through later. I don't know. We're looking like well into March. But you can just see they're just starting to show there. So hopefully they'll shoot up. I might have hit them back too hard. Bay leaf. What we're waiting to see is going to happen. These were from Mike's place in Somerset. They are a David Austin Rose. I don't know what that one's called. This is a Claire Austin, I think that one. Anyway, we just hit them down, dug them up, brought them here, planted them in as per dead. My God, they're showing up. Now, I don't know whether this year they're going to flower. This is the first year here. This is all dug out new, this whole bed. But everything I've planted, small ones, miniature ones, big bush ones, it's all a mishmash of potential rose bushes there. The flowers here done no good. I've got horse manure in there already. As you can see, it is shooting. Even one we put down as dead, look, it's shooting. That might be a sucker, what we used to call a sucker. Depends how many leaves they've got on there, I'm not sure. I think 5 leaves are better, and this one is 2, 4, 6, 7. So it's what it might be a sucker, but also here, see the little nodules coming up? This one's going to go, this one's going to go. But whether they'll flower this year, some rose expert tell me when we've just replanted them, will I get any flowers on them in the first year? I have to wait for the second. I've had a couple of bad years of sunflowers. Apparently they had a disease where they had them in another country, imported them, better not say which country it was, I won't be too impressed, but apparently they had disease where they're growing. So this is the only one we had left. That's just a single plant we left, and it's still come through on its own, which is amazing. It's gone right through the winter. Normally we just pull them up. And I feel that's really early, the flowers on that one. But bonus, didn't pay anything for it, it's last year's plant. This is a guide, you can get an idea, these pampas grasses, how they grow. Really, really high, like this. And they're lovely in the winter against the blue sky. But when they get storms, these start snapping down, and this goes brown on the outside. It's not so good, so that's why we hit them back. And you can see through there, I had massive, massive clumps. And they've all been hit back, but we'll show you later on. They do come back the same year as big or bigger than that. Well, folks, it's kind of hard to believe, but those wasps are there within 24 hours. Let me show them to you, because I'm really kind of surprised myself. I don't know whether because the ground's been cleared and the sun's out and it's hot on that bank, which is where I've noticed they come out when it's really hot, but they're swarming with wasps now, and I know they go down those holes. I find that really strange, literally. The following day, that can't be right. Something wrong with nature. Check these out. That just goes to show you just what a little bit of warm sunshine can do to nature. It certainly helps me out, I can assure you.
And speaking of wasps, what exactly is happening to the honeybee population in the UK? Now, early in this sort of late spring, early summer, I do notice for the last 2 or 3 years, hardly any honeybees at all, but bumblebees, the big ones. So that's sort of good, I guess, but they don't seem to go all over the flowers, the few we have got out. What I do notice is they've been sort of creeping around in the grass. I don't know what they're doing in there. Are they feeding? Are there bumblebee experts out there that can tell us what exactly they're doing down there? I mean, they even got their little paws and they're rubbing their eyes like they've got a piece of grass in their eye. I don't know what's going on, but I did notice one year that some were burrowing and actually burrowed into the ground, much like those wasps earlier, and must have had an underground bumblebee nest. Experts out there, tell us what you think. Now, while we're on the subject of insects, for those who don't really like creepy crawlies, you might not want to hear my next encounter I had. I've been in the garden, I can't even tell you what I was doing. But naturally, I'm a bit deaf in this ear. I think that's a sign that I sit when I have dinner for the last 40 years with the wife talking to me. I may be wrong, ladies, it's a joke. Anyway, I thought, oh, a bit deaf in this ear. You know, Hillary was talking to me in the garden. Yes, whatever, you know, when people talk to you and you go, ha ha ha, yes, yes. You don't know what they're saying, just go, ah, yes. Do it at family functions mostly. She's not listening, don't worry. So I got this sort of dullness in my ear and I don't know, what is that? Didn't think any more of it. About an hour or so later, I think, what is that? As I get my small finger in my ear, I feel something crawling, something living in there, something live, something alien is in my head. Now, my teachers always told me, many of them indeed, when I was at secondary modern school, that there could have possibly been a through channel, like a tunnel, from Graeme Pullen's ear here to Graeme Pullen's ear there. Because everything the teachers told me seemed to go in this one and out the other one. Anyway, whatever it was in here never came out of this one, but I had it pinned down in this side. So I gently held it like that, trying to pull back inside my brain. Not much of it, obviously the brain. Eventually I got it out. This is what it was. Does anybody know what species this live spider was that was trying to nest in my left eardrum? It's disgusting. Is it a wolf spider or something much worse? Now you saw those seedlings earlier. Well, I just put a clip together. This is sort of two week difference, maybe 3 weeks difference between the clips. Just check these out. It just shows you that 2-3 week period of hopefully the temperature warming has made a difference to the seedlings. So look, I mean, look, what's going on here? This was my outside sunbathing area. Freezing cold wind up. A lovely day. It's full of washing. What's that all about? Anyway, I think I mentioned I've got these geraniums before. They're going okay. Two things I will show you. Right, in the totally awesome potting shed. These are all coming along nicely. Got a second, I'm going to call it the shoot coming up on here. So these aren't far away from being transplanted. That one is a weed. That one is a disastrous failure of an unknown seed we didn't know, but the sunflowers are going well. All I do is just spin around each day, give them a bit of water, and they're pretty well ready to go out as well. But what I did find interesting, let me come out here. Some of you might remember last year when I was doing the vegetables, I planted 4 conker horse chestnut trees. They died, they finished. I just happened to leave the stick up parts here. They just started shooting. I can't believe it. So this is, I think here, the first growth I had last year. Somebody would tell me that's the first growth of last year. That's the one that died off, and then I believe it's thrown this shoot up, and these are the new leaves opening up. So somebody tell me, is that the growth I had last year when I planted them? Then they die off, because don't forget the deciduous, the leaves will drop. I thought they were dead. No, they weren't dead. The stems are pretty thick there. So I've got my donation to the world Amazon rainforest being cut down type of thing. I'm trying to grow 4 horse chestnut trees. I'm going to keep an interest in these, and there's also extra shoots there. So have they turned the corner? If so, I will be getting some more. Over here we've cleared it all out, weeded out, and these are all ones I've planted on. Going well. Reminds me that I should have a holiday in the Mediterranean sometime. Mike had a load of chipping and bark stuff at one of the properties he's got.
So I've pinched it all and we've done all that. So pretty well that is nice and clean and tidy. And there is the world famous raptor table. I'm looking for Colin. There's no sign of him today.
Well, people out there, thanks for watching this one. I've got loads more fishing films. I'm hoping in the next week or two I'm going to start firing them up. This one was a sort of a filler one for you, but I hope there's enough material in there to get you thinking. Maybe hit that comments page with some ideas. There's quite a lot in there, especially if you're into the garden. It's coming up now, and the fishing as well. We'll see you in the next episode. Fingers crossed everybody stays safe out there. Fingers crossed. Not only do I get a nice big fish, I don't get a live spider trying to live inside my brain.